welcome. This is Cheryl, aka Artsy Island Girl for Love from Lizzie. Today I'm sharing the new May 2026 card kit from Love from Lizzie. This is called Steamboat Willie. Lots of Steamboat Willie themed things in here. I also have the add-on kit that I'm showing. Some items I'm using in this kit, some I'm using in the one with this kit on my own channel as well. So the very first thing I want to do is stamp some of the images from the stamp set in the kit. I want to color them with alcohol-based markers. So I am going to stamp them using my Misty stamping tool to make sure that I can stamp them multiple times and make sure that I have a nice, crisp, clean image. I'm using some black Memento ink. It's my favorite ink for coloring in with alcohol-based markers. You can use whatever your favorites are as well. You could also heat emboss, use a colored ink and then heat emboss with clear powder. You don't want to use colored powder with alcohol inks though, because it will start to break down the embossing powder. This is my favorite ink to use. I've used it many times. Once I have them stamped, I'll set it aside to dry completely, and I just clean my stamps off with a damp cloth. It's just a dye-based ink, so it doesn't need any special cleaner or anything to do that. So I do plan on die cutting those images, so I have them spaced apart so that I can die cut them. For the second sheet here, I'm going to use the frame stamp that's in that set as well as the Captain Pete, and then we have a banner stamp with some banner sentiments that fit right into it. So I'm going to create a bunch of sentiments for these cards. Now I plan on coloring these with alcohol-based markers, and that's where I'm choosing which paper and which cardstock to use. You can color them however you want. You can watercolor them if you want. You can use dye-based markers if that's your cup of tea. You could color them with Prismacolor pencils. So there's a lot of different ways you can color your images. I am going to be using them with some of the printed papers from the kit. So the colors that I'm going to be using are based on, or to try to coordinate with, those colors from the papers. However, the colors that I'm coloring with end up being a little bit brighter than the more muted vintagey tones on the paper. So the stamp here for the banner, it has a curve to it. There's also two different sentiments in that stamp set that you can stamp the sentiment in there. I'm going to stamp it with the same ink. You could also use an embossing ink and emboss that sentiment if you wanted to give it a little bit of extra texture to it, or a little bit of more dimension to it. I'm just doing the black ink for all of them. Another option here, I don't do it. I keep my sentiments all white with that black ink, but you also could use the Copic markers to color those banners if you wanted to have them colored to match the images that we're going to be coloring. So I'm just going to continue, and I do stamp multiple times, especially when I haven't gotten a complete image. If I've gotten an area that's a little bit modelly, I will go and stamp it. What you didn't see on this video is this is a new stamp set, so before using it, I did use a white eraser on the stamping surface. I do this with all of my clear stamps. Anytime I have a new set, I will use a white eraser on the entire set, use a brush to brush off all of those excess bits, and then my stamp set's good to go. This only needs to be done one time, but it helps to take any possible manufacturer residue off of that stamp set and helps it to take ink just a little bit better. To save just a little bit of time, while I'm stamping a new banner, I'm stamping the sentiment on the previously stamped banners that I've done, so that I have all of my banners with all of those sentiments done fairly quickly. Now these images here, I don't have dies for them, so I am going to fussy cut them, just using some detailed scissors, and when I cut them, I do leave a little bit of a white edge around the outside edge. That's how I like to fussy cut. I like the look of having those little white edges around the edge, but I am going to color my images first. So like I said, I'm going to be using alcohol-based markers, and I'm going to freeze them on the screen to show you what colors I'm using. Any of these colors can easily be swapped out. If you don't like the ones that I'm using, you can easily use other ones, or if you have a different brand, you can just use a comparable color to it. So I did some grays for some of the shading, some of the shadow for the shoes. I will be doing it on the faces a little bit later as well. These don't really have any color to them, so I'm just adding that little bit of shading on it. For the shorts, I'm doing reds. Now the first color I used looks more like a corally pink color. I use that for the highlight areas. I like, when I'm doing my alcohol-based marker coloring, I color the light color first, then I go over top with my darker color, then I go back over top with my lighter color and blend those two colors together. This is the way I learned how to do it, and it's the way that I prefer. Another option is to do the shading first with the darker color and then go over it with the lighter color. I've seen other people do that, and if that's your cup of tea, I do suggest try both ways, see which way you like best. Like I said, this is the way I learned, so I've just kind of gotten to the habit of doing it, but neither one is right or wrong. Here I'm showing two yellows, I'm only going to be using the darker of the two. This is just for the little buttons on the shorts, as well as the little patch on the two hats. You don't need to do any shading with them because there's really not much space to do that. For the browns here, I'm using it for the ship's wheel. Once again, coloring with the lighter color first, then going over and putting a darker shading where I think there would be some shadow. When I figure out where the shadow is, I kind of imagine where I think the light's coming from, and then the opposite side to that is where I would put the shadow. So when I do the shadow, I don't do it over the entire area, I just do it over a little bit of it, and I put less shadow than I think I need, because as I am blending the two colors together, it is going to spread a little bit on there. I can always go back and add more if I find that I haven't done enough. The great thing about coloring with alcohol-based markers is it's very forgiving. You can color that same area over and over again and that paper doesn't start to pill. When you color with dye-based markers, that paper does start to pill really quickly. You also see the streaks from the marker or the strokes from the marker. You don't see that with alcohol-based markers, which is one of the reasons why I like coloring with them so much. So once I did the ship's wheel, I did Captain Pete's shoes there. Then I did the red tongues. Now I have two blues here for some of the hats, as well as Captain Pete's pants. Again, doing the light area first, then going in with the dark area, and then going back with the light to color over the whole thing. And you can see I do one area at a time and then move on to the next. So I don't do all the light areas, all the shading, and then do all the blending. I'll do the light, dark, and then blending for each of those areas. I don't want my markers to dry, or the color to dry on the paper. I do prefer to do it fairly quickly and do one area all at once, so that marker is still damp on that paper while I'm adding the dark area and while I'm shading it. I find that it blends together just a little bit easier if I do it that way. So I'm keeping my backgrounds white because I want them to be stark and bright against the colored cardstock that I have, or printed cardstock that I have for the backgrounds of my cards. I will be using some light gray as well as light brown to just do a suggestion of a floor beneath them. I don't want them to look like they're just floating in air, so I will be adding a little bit of a floor, really with just a few strokes of the pen, just so it looks like they're standing on something. For Captain Pete's face, I did a light brown, a little bit with the medium tone brown just to add a bit of shadows, and then quickly colored that in. And this is how I'm doing this shading for the floor. Just a little bit of strokes around. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but again, just so that they don't look like they're floating in air. Once I have them all colored, I'm going to take the two images to the left, and I'm going to be using the stitched circle dies to die cut them. And then once those are die cut, I'm going to die cut some mats for them using the same stitched circle die set. There's a lot of different sizes in there, and I knew that those two images, because they're completely different sizes, they were going to take different circle dies and different mat sizes for them. So I wanted to make sure to cut those ones first and then choose those mats. I'm going to be doing one mat with black cardstock, and there is black cardstock in the kit, and then the other mat is going to be the burgundy cardstock that's in the kit. I do use a little bit of extra black cardstock for a mat on the base of my card, but the rest of the solid cardstocks that I've used are from the kit, and I just use the plain cardstocks, but you could, if you wanted, use the add-on kit with the mirrored cardstock if you wanted to add a little bit of flashy mirror color to it. There's some really great colors in that kit, so it does add a completely different texture to those backgrounds. So I do tape my dies in place when I'm die cutting them. I want to make sure that those dies stay exactly where they are and don't move on me. I have some detailed cutting scissors here that I'm going to be using. And when I cut them, I do like to leave a white halo around them. I just like the look of that. You could, if that is not your cup of tea, you can cut right along the edge of that stamped line and it looks fantastic as well. I just do really like that halo on there. So when I'm cutting, my right hand with the scissors pretty much doesn't move too much. I move my left hand, and I use my left hand to move that cardstock into the path of the scissors. This is how I find you get the nicest, smoothest detail coloring or cutting. I find that if you move your scissors hand too much, and especially if you go like kind of almost cutting backwards, that's when things get a little bit choppy and not quite as smooth. So off screen, I did the rest of that fussy cutting, and now we're ready to start assembling these cards. And because I have everything prepped, these cards come together really, really quickly. My black mat for my card, and I'm doing Alt A2 cards here, that black mat, and I'm doing the same mats for each one of those cards, is cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. My printed paper there was cut to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And then, like I said earlier, after I cut my image pieces out, I chose the next 2 sizes up with the stitched circle dies, and I cut mats for them. So one of them is the burgundy cardstock in that kit, and one is the black. Now there is some embellishment pieces, there's ribbons and cords. I wanted to add a little bit of some of the ribbon to the back, and I'm just doing a little strip. I'm not doing it all the way over. I just kind of thought it might look a little bit more interesting to be a little bit frayed edges, or for the ribbon to have frayed edges, and just have just a random strip on there. So that's what I'm going for here with the scissors. You can see that one end frayed a little bit easier than the other. I did use my liquid glue here. I didn't use a ton of it so that it wouldn't show through that ribbon. You can use strong double-sided tape, and you'll have a little bit easier time. It'll stick a little bit better as well. For using that liquid glue, you have to wait for that to dry, and it takes a little bit longer with ribbon. Then I glued down that circle mat with my image piece as well as my sentiment. And like I said, I kept my sentiments white. I kept them fairly plain. You could color them if you wanted them colored, but I do think, especially for this card, that just shows up nicer being white. For some of the embellishments here, we have some button embellishments. It doesn't have a button shank on the back. It's got a flat back, but it looks like one of those shaped buttons. I did use some strong double-sided tape on there, and then I put some dots of liquid glue on there as well to hold it in place nicely, and it just adds a beautiful amount of dimension to it. We have another card here, and everything is all prepped, ready to go. I have that same black mat that I did. Now, I chose black mats for all of these, as well as black mats for some of my die cuts, because it echoed the black lining on my stamped images, and I thought it just tied everything in really nicely. And then I added my printed paper on top, chose the colors for my mat based on those printed papers. And for the first 2 here, I just thought the burgundy really looked nice because there's some burgundy in the printed papers, and I just thought it added to it. That's one of the reasons why I chose to give our Steamboat Willie that red bottom there. I didn't have alcohol markers that were as dark as that, so it is a little bit brighter, which is totally fine. Once I have my printed paper down, I can add my circle mats down, then my sentiment here. And this sentiment, because this background is a little bit lighter, it doesn't show up quite as much. And this is an instance where you might want to use the alcohol markers to color that sentiment if you wanted it to pop a little bit more. Just like the last card, I used one of the embellishments from the button style embellishment pieces. I used a little life preserver, and then we have some silver charms. There's one of them that is a ship that I thought would be nice on here. I just used my liquid glue on that ship because the lines to it are really, really fine, and I didn't have any glue dots that were not going to show. Now, after completing it that far, I decided that I wanted to add a bit of a frame to it. This is where these stripe peel-offs, these pinstripe peel-offs, come in handy. They work really, really well for just adding frames around different cards. You can do curves as well with them. They stick really easily, and they're easy to just cut to size as you're creating them. I love the added touch of metallic, that little bit of a raised edge because it's a sticker, and it just is something that catches your eye and adds a really subtle frame that's completely different from a mat on your card. I chose the red one for these ones because we have pops of red in that background, as well as Steamboat Willie's shorts and some red on that life preserver. So I just thought it would tie everything in nicely. So once I have those on there, and I just, like I said, I put them down, I eyeball it, and I just cut it down or cut it off once I've gotten to the end of the cardstock. It just adds a really nice framed touch to it. So easy to use, and I like that there's 4 different colors, so you can pick and choose which color you want to use. For the next card, I'm going to be using that stamped image with the stamped frame on it that's been fussy cut, as well as one of my borders. I'm going to put my mat down first. I like to use liquid glue for gluing the majority of things down because you don't need a ton. It gives you that little bit of wiggle room to move and shimmy things in place. But if tape runners are your cup of tea, they would work really well for most of the things here as well. This sheet of peel-offs is from the kit. I'm using the peel-off borders on this one that are a little bit wider because our stamped image is a little bit smaller. I wanted to just fill in the area a little bit more. So by using the borders that are a bit wider, it fills it in just a little bit more. It's a little bit more prominent than the narrower ones that I used on the last card. Now, because I had planned to do this ahead of time, I'm doing this before I stick everything else on. It doesn't really matter when you do it. I tend to do things like this. I kind of work from the back to the front, and I tend to do these things before I add the other things to the front of my card. But you could see by doing it on the last one, after the last one was an afterthought, it doesn't really matter if you do it afterwards. As long as you're not disturbing anything on top or everything is dry, it's totally fine. Because when you're putting these peel-offs down, if you put it down and it's a little bit crooked, you can easily lift it up. It becomes permanent afterwards, but while you're doing it, it's really forgiving. And like I said before, you can do it on curves as well. I've done it with an arched die cut, and it worked really well on those curves. So once I have that border down, we can add our fussy cut frame with Captain Pete there, and then we can add the sentiment banner on the top of it. And again, this is another one where I think it would look really nice done or colored in those blues, same as his pants. I chose to keep it white because I wanted the focal point to be the images, and I wanted that to be what your eye is drawn to. For finishing this one, I chose one of the pre-printed die cut anchors that is in the pre-printed die cuts package that is in the kit. For the video on my channel, I'm using a lot of those pre-printed die cuts. For this one, I used it on that last card, and then I'm using it as the focal image on this card because I thought the pre-printed die cut that I'm going to be using on this one just worked really well with this piece of printed paper. Now, because of those rectangle frames on that printed paper, I chose to use the stitched rectangles die set to create another couple matte layers for the front of my card. If I added that pre-printed die cut right to that printed paper, it's going to kind of blend in. It's not going to stick out quite as much. So by adding these layers with these die cuts, it echoes the frames on the printed paper and also showcases the pre-printed die cut just a little bit better. Now, since our Steamboat Willie is in a square frame and we have mats here that are rectangle, I'm going to put him towards the bottom, and I'm going to add the banner to that same layer just to fill in that area, make it not look a little bit odd. It kind of makes it fit in a little bit better. Then I'm going to take one of the silver charms and I'm going to glue that to the front of the card. That's just going to give it a little bit of extra texture, a little bit of extra dimension, and just finish it off just a little bit better. I let that completely dry, and here is our finished card. I absolutely love the look of the pre-printed paper on the background with that die cut as well as that stamped sentiment on there. Next, we have the card with the stamped Captain Pete within the stamped frame that is fussy cut. And I just love how everything in this kit all works really, really well together. You can easily use the stamped images with the printed papers as well as the printed die cuts. There's lots of different embellishments, and I create 4 cards in here and 4 cards on my own channel, but you can still create a ton more with all that's left over from this kit. I'll have everything listed and linked that is used from Love from Lizzie in the description box below. So if there's anything you're wondering about, you'll find it down there. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all the time that you spend with us. Have a fantastic day.